Hey guys, it's Nikki in Nashville here, and welcome to the first ever Carter Studio Sessions, an interactive talk show with acoustic performances from country, Americana, and country adjacent artists. I just want to say thank you to Carter Vintage Guitars and Carter Studios. This is the first time we've done this, so really grateful to them for allowing us to use their space. This is going to be super fun. Our very first guest here, who's allowing me to be the guinea pig with him, I've had the privilege of seeing like 3 times now. Incredible vocalist, fun performer, super interesting sound, and we're going to get to chat with him today. So we have Nashville-based singer-songwriter and purveyor of cool tattoos, obviously, Mr. Zach Meadows. How are you doing, friend?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Good. No, we're super stoked to have you. This is going to be a fun experience for both of us. So talk to me a little bit about what your days look like these days. You've got a lot coming up. You are performing, you're writing, you're touring. Talk to me about what's going on.
Yeah, so I've been in Nashville coming up about 2 years now. So, still kind of new to the scene. But a lot of like my days look like I'm either writing or working downtown. I still bartend in my spare time. But
nice.
Yeah, a lot of it's, just trying to create a catalog of music going forward. We've been working on a record here, my label and I. We got some stuff coming out this summer. And a lot of my free time, I'm either working downtown or working on new music.
Nice.
So
I saw that. We'll get to that new album here shortly. That's a fun announcement. So you also had a show not too long ago, a couple of nights ago at the Basement. How did that go? So it's never not fun playing the Basement. Probably one of my favorite venues in town, if not my favorite. When I get the fellas together, we play full band shows. It's unparalleled. I've always enjoyed the acoustic stuff, but basement shows, full band shows, man, that's what makes it feel like Nashville. So yeah, live music. That's the thing that makes it go around. And if you all haven't been to the OG Basement, it is literally a basement, but it is a super fun venue. I absolutely love it there. Where are you from originally?
So I'm originally from Orlando, Florida. Okay. I left Orlando about 5 years ago and spent some time out in the Carolinas for about like 2.5 years or so. And that's kind of like where the Carolinas is really where I did most of like my songwriting that still is relevant and kind of like the sound that I have today. Sure. But yeah, growing up in Orlando and stuff, there wasn't that much to do unless you're, a big fan of theme parks. Yeah.
Or a water person or
you know, and it's nice. I still go back from time to time, but
you have family there?
Yeah, all my family and all my friends still live down in Orlando. Sure. I'll be there in just a couple weeks.
Okay. That'll be fun. It'll be hot. My goodness.
Yeah, dude, Florida summers, I don't miss them. So.
Well, did you always know that you wanted to do music, or like what was the evolution of, okay, you're growing up in Florida, you moved to the Carolinas. Did you know you always wanted to be a singer, songwriter, artist, or what did that look like?
I definitely didn't start pursuing the singer, songwriter route until about 19 or 20. Okay. I grew up a lot doing like musical theater. Yeah. And
not shocked. Absolutely.
And there's a lot of kids that do that too. That I found kind of transitioned into the singer-songwriter route.
Very cool.
But yeah, no, I grew up playing piano mostly as a kid and stuff, and just doing shit like that. Like I was in chorus, I was in band as a kid. And music just was always something that I stuck with. It was always, kind of like just this other piece of me. I was like, this is me. Yeah. As a person, And yeah, about 19, 20, I transitioned into playing guitar more than anything else. Okay. I think that's kind of when I started to head in the songwriting direction. Sure.
It's just always musical.
Yeah, I've always had, music has always been like pushed on me as a kid. Okay. From both my mom and my dad. It's always just been such a big aspect of my life. Yeah. And then, performing, I've always... I grew up performing in the theater, and I did little recitals and stuff. Sure. In choir and whatnot. So that's awesome. Music. I've always stuck with music. Music's always been a very integral part of like who I am as a person. So.
Good deal. I used to do theater too, so I feel like the theater kids, we get each other. So I read online about the story that you met your current management and label mate, Gabe Lee, and he kind of like helped you, evolve from there. If you want to tell us that story.
Yeah, so I, before, kind of right before I'd moved to North Carolina, I had another buddy from Orlando introduce me to Gabe Lee's music. I had the first time I ever saw Gabe Lee, I was passing through Nashville, and I saw him doing a writer's round at Tin Roof. Okay. I want to say it was up in up on Music Row, and just saw him in passing. And I remember my buddy months later was like, remember that one guy that we saw at Tin Roof? And that was Gabe Lee. He introduced me to Eveline.
Yeah.
And, I just kind of fell down the Gabe Lee rabbit hole. So,
that's a good rabbit hole.
Granted, he only had the one record out at the time, but I was obsessed. I listened to it. That when I was out in North Carolina for like the first 6 months, that was like, the sound.
Yeah.
Everything about that record, it was so inspiring to me and really kind of helped shape the direction that I started to head in.
Yeah.
And I post COVID, after things started opening up a little more and Honky Tonk Hell was on its way out, Gabe was doing an opening run with Molly Tuttle, and I caught a show out in Nashville. Introduced myself. Yeah. very, very nervously introduced myself. And yeah, I think I followed him around the state for a few more shows, tried not to weird him out, but sure. Yeah, he remembered me as the months went by. The more he saw me, the more we kind of, would chat and kind of became friends after a little while. And he kind of inspired me to move to Nashville. My wife and I, at the time when we were kind of talking about what direction we wanted to head in, like,
sure.
Both of our leases were kind of coming to an end, and we're like, what are we going to do? Are we going to do the music thing or not? And Gabe, offered some really fantastic advice. He's like, do you want to be a songwriter? You got to move to Nashville.
Yeah.
And, that was kind of the turning point where we decided, all right, well, if we're going to do it, we need to commit all the way.
Yeah.
And yeah, Gabe has been, since we've lived in Nashville, Gabe has been, there's a very intrinsic part of my entire experience. He introduced me to the TMG team. Mm-hmm. He's been coming to bat for me and, being a champion for me and my songs. So
that's great.
Yeah. Nothing but respect to Mr. Gabe Lee. So yeah.
Amazing. I love that story. It's always great when stuff like that turns out. So you said wife in there. I think a congratulations is in order. You're recently married, right? A few weeks ago.
I did get married a couple months ago.
Months ago. Okay.
April, middle of April. My wife's from the New Jersey area, so yeah, we drove out there. Spent about a week and a half. Came back, and yeah, it's been really fun. Now that we're married, we have so much time on our hands to do things that we actually really want to do.
Good.
So we've been getting out into the Nashville music scene a lot more and spending time getting out and looking at other artists and stuff. And
amazing.
It's been fantastic.
Well, that was my next question. As a newlywed, how do you find balancing that plus like your work schedule and your life and your music and your traveling? Has it been, relatively easy?
Yeah, we went to Kansas this past weekend for a little small town festival in Salina. Only gone for a handful of days, but like her and I, we make it work so well.
Good deal.
I think she kind of gets it. She knew like what she was signing up for. But no, she's at the end of the day, she's a big fan of me, and she supports me in everything I do. And so she just wants to see me succeed. And so
good.
I think everything will continue to go well.
Absolutely. I love that. See, it's possible. That's a beautiful story. Well, let's give the people what they want. The rest of 2024. What does that look like for you? So I'm hearing a rumored album, a new single on the way. I guess whatever you can talk about, if you can share with us.
So yeah, we got a new single coming out June 28th, Highway to Birmingham. Yeah, it's nice. We went in a little bit of a heavier rock direction for this song. But yeah, that's coming out this month, June 28th. We got another single coming out in July. And then towards the end of the summertime, the full-length record will be coming out. And yeah, man, hopefully we're just going to be pushing the hell out of it for the rest of the year.
Boom,
honestly.
Something to look forward to. I'm excited. But no, I was going to ask you about the new one coming out on the 28th. So I saw on Instagram that you did a little bit of a preview, and it definitely felt a little bit more rock and roll than some of your other stuff, or just like a little bit heavier, a little bit grittier. Where did that inspiration come from, or how did you kind of settle on that sound for this new one?
So yeah, I've been a big fan of like Southern rock or, heavy, more, gritty type rock stuff for quite some time, like one of my favorite artists in recent memory, Black Pistol Fire,
nice.
If you're familiar and stuff. And like they were, a big inspiration for, a couple of these songs coming out on their record, and I just think songs, like Highway to Birmingham and, they're so much fun to play live.
Yeah.
There's this kind of, energy that you bring to the stage when you play songs like that. that it's really hard to like recreate with anything acoustic.
Sure.
So yeah, a lot of these songs, like Highway to Birmingham, were written particularly for like live performance shows.
Okay, high energy live performance shows. I definitely feel that.
So
some of your other stuff, who are your like big songwriting or performing inspirations? You talked about one band. Is there anybody that you really just like, if we turn on your Spotify, who would we hear?
It's cliche to say nowadays, but like Springsteen will always be at the top, top of that list.
It's not cliche.
You know, I definitely grew up on a lot of his stuff, but yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I'm always kind of just changing what I listen to. I like to listen to a lot of new stuff.
Okay.
And kind of draw inspiration from the people that are like doing it now.
Sure.
You know, like I'm a big fan of, you know, anything from 70s, 80s, pop, rock and roll, classic, you name it, man. But yeah, like in my recent playlist, you know, I was jamming out to Brent Cobb a couple days ago.
Okay.
Red Clay Strays, or, you know, they got some new music coming out. I've been really jiving with it. Yeah. Oh man, as far as like songwriting goes, there's this one band called Flight.
Okay.
I think they're a British band, but like the songwriting, you know,
it's just great.
Yeah. I hopped onto their record. I think it came out like last year.
Okay.
Or in the last 6-7 months or something like that. So yeah, I love exploring new music, new artists and stuff. I think all of my inspiration kind of typically comes from like what I'm into at the moment.
Sure.
You know?
I like that. And it's not all put into like one box. Dude, yeah, Red Clay Strays are killing it.
Yeah.
See, like you and Brandon a collab, that would be wild. We're going to petition for that.
Fingers crossed, man.
Fingers crossed.
Make my dreams come true, please.
It will absolutely happen. If you were to describe then your music or your sound to somebody who's never heard your music before, what would you say?
I don't know if it's a cop-out or not, but I usually just describe it as Americana music because I feel like that's just, you know, that kind of feels like the culmination of everything that I do.
Sure.
Is a blanket Americana, because you know there's influences of like country, there's influences of folk or indie folk, a little even like bluegrass influences and southern rock influences. You know, all these kind of very traditional like American themes I like to incorporate into my songs. I'd say like the record coming out, I'd say it's a pretty tried and true Americana record.
Very cool. Okay, definitely looking forward to that. I feel like these days it's almost more popular than that artists sort of like, they don't stick to, say like, you know, George Strait, he's country, he's going to play country forever. These days it feels like it's more popular and expected of artists to kind of like explore a lot of different mediums, and people almost think that now that's kind of like how it should be. Do you feel like that's a way that you are like finding fun creative expression? Like if it's based on a lot of stuff that you're listening to currently,
I think like so, yeah.
Influences.
You know, like my songwriting process, like it's different, like kind of like every time.
Sure.
Just because like the way I approach songwriting is, you know, I like to try something new. You know, I don't like to stay in one box or, you know, one style of writing, one sound. So yeah, I think I think exploring like different genres, even, you know, that's how I get most creative.
Okay.
You know, that's typically when I find like the most exciting, more enticing songs that I write.
Yeah.
Are typically like, you know, they explore a little outside of the box of like what feels comfortable or what feels like traditional country or traditional folk or Americana. You know, I think, you know, getting a little more creative with it, that's what excites me about making music. You know?
Absolutely. I love that. So do you feel like you are in a better place writing emotionally or experientially? Do you write better when you're happy, when you're sad, when you just did something cool? Does it kind of like vary? I
think there's no like particular emotion that I you know write better about, because I've written some, you know, in the first, you know, couple of years my wife and I have been together, I've written a lot of love songs.
Sure.
You know, but there's plenty of, I've written some sad ones too, and you know, in recent months I've been going back and sort of like exploring my early 20s, my late teens, and just writing about that period of my life, which, you know, wasn't as happy as I am now.
Late teens, early 20s, like, does anyone know what's going on? But yeah.
Honestly, but it's, you know, I think writing from, you know, personal experience is how I write the best.
Cool.
I think, you know, my songwriting journey when I first started out, you know, I didn't really have much to talk about, much to write about. And, you know, these last 10 years, really, you know, I'll be 28 in a couple weeks. and these last 10 years, I feel like I've lived a lot of life.
Yeah.
So it's been, you know, especially in recently, the last couple of years, I've had a lot of stories that I've wanted to tell, and I've really started to dive more into, you know, my own personal lived experience,
sure,
putting that out in the world.
Yeah, we love songs too. Texas Two-Step is a really good.
Yeah, man, it's a true story.
I love it. Oh, is it really?
It's a very true story.
Well, you guys have to listen to that one then. And now that's a true story. That makes me want to listen to it again. Also, 28. That makes me feel old. Oh my gosh, I'm just not even going to think about it. Do you have a talent, hobby, or something that a lot of people don't know about you? Like, if you're not working, you're not doing music, what are you doing?
Unfortunately, video games. That's kind of like my a lot of my buddies and I back home. It's kind of like how I stay in touch with most of my Florida friends. Okay, you know, so my wife hates it. She'll never get it. She'll hear me, you know, screaming at the top of my lungs in the other room. But yeah, like it's corny or whatever, but it's funny. We play computer games. Gotcha. You know, so that's it.
I'm not surprised. It's not corny. There are definitely worse habits. My boyfriend was talking to me about Red Dead Redemption. Never heard of it.
Great game.
Okay, so I guess other people know. I don't know this.
Both games, both 1 and 2. Fantastic. If you've never played them, you should.
I haven't. As long as it's Western or like something along the lines of country, I might get into it, but we'll see. Well, I don't know. Can you tell us some of the stories behind a little bit of your ink? Are they all like just cool ideas? Do they all have a meaning?
So a few of them did have a meaning. My first tattoo, very angsty, but it was the 1975 lyrics.
Okay.
Because when I was in high school,
I love the
1975 was my favorite band. Okay. You know, you wouldn't hear the end of it from me about those guys. So my first tattoo, yeah, I got my first like few pieces were like definitely, they were lyric inspired. Definitely had sentimental meaning to me. And then as I started to just kind of cover myself a little more, I stopped caring what I was getting, you know? Yeah, so a lot of these, like some of them have meaning still. Like this hummingbird I got here from my Aunt Marianne, who passed away years ago. But yeah, this one doesn't mean anything. It just
looks cool. Yeah.
And there's a lot of them that really don't have any sentimental meaning anymore. I like kind of asking tattoo artists, you know, like what do they want to draw and stuff, and seeing if they have anything that I'd like to put on me, and I typically do. So
I like that. Very cool. Yeah, if you have tattoos, you know, like the first couple, you take forever to like decide what you're going to get. We want this to be meaningful.
I was very particular about like what I wanted to get when I first started getting tattoos, and now I have a very cartoon drawn chicken on my leg, you know, just things that don't like matter anymore, you know?
Yeah. It's just color. It looks good. I know. Same. It's just like the first couple, oh my gosh, these are going to be on me forever. And then after that, we'll just keep getting them. It doesn't really matter. So last question for you before we're able to do some acoustic performances. Say 50 years from now, you're looking back on your career, you're sitting there and you're thinking, heck yeah, I made it. This is exactly where I want to be. What was that turning point for you? What do you think that would have been like? Then you're like, yes, this is it.
You know, I'd say like a landmark achievement probably in my career would be, you know, kind of getting to the Opry stage and stuff. That's been a dream of mine for a good while now. And seeing, you know, my buddy Gabe make it to the stage and other up and coming artists, that's definitely a landmark point that I'd like to make it at some time in my career.
Absolutely.
But I think, you know, success to me just kind of feels like making a living playing music.
Yeah.
You know, as long as I'm able to live within my means and comfortably, and you know, doing what I love, and people are still spinning my stuff, man. That's success to me at the end of the day. You know.
That's great. I love that. It's different for everybody. We absolutely love that. Well, congratulations on everything that you've been doing. New single, the 28th.
New single, June 28th, Birmingham. You can pre-save it now.
On Spotify and everywhere else you get your music. Make sure you follow him on Spotify across all socials. And now we're going to get to an acoustic performance. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
All right. So we'll come on out here. So this is going to be the main showroom floor. So we'll have our 2 high-end rooms. We'll have electrics and acoustics down here. But for the most part, this is going to be all of our stuff. These are going to be like all of our Fenders here, Strats and Tellys. You play a Gretsch?
I play a Gretsch, yeah. Cool. I got a hollow body Gretsch at home. Been meaning to pick up a Telecaster at some point.
Tellys are so much fun. I love a Telly. Because it's like you can do that like real twangy country thing, but also you put it on that neck pickup and kind of roll it back a little bit. You can get some real nice, soft, subtle stuff. So this was Mike Bloomfield's. He played it with the Electric Flag. Electric Flag and Band of Gypsies had the same drummer, Buddy Miles. So Mike had given it to Buddy, who then gave it to Jimi Hendrix. Jimmy recorded all of his Band of Gypsies stuff on here, but said, it looks so good, it sounds so good, it looks too bad. I can't play this live. So he just called up Leo Fender and said, hey, give me a black Strat, which then became Jimmy's black Strat. But so this is the guitar that was used on all the Band of Gypsies records. We've got 1960 Les Paul. This one we call the Barn Burst. Somebody found it in a barn. They were like taking apart an old barn, and they just found this in a case, like in the mix of it all, which is crazy. That guy's 350,000. It's more than I've ever found. I found like a pair of sunglasses on the beach one time. They were like $100. I was real pumped on that. So this is our high-end electric room. So this is where we'll have all of our like pre-CBS Fender, 50s and 60s Gibson, our like super kind of private select stuff. So definitely like some highlights from in here. We've got another Mike Bloomfield piece. This is his Telecaster. If you like ever see pictures of him, he's playing this guy.
Yeah, wow.
And then you can see, so yeah, it was
it's got some history to it, man.
66 Tele, and then it was all hand painted by his girlfriend. I think this is probably one of the cooler things in the shop. Definitely gets looked over a bit. But this is a prototype GNL bass. This was the last thing that Leo Fender was working on when he passed away. So that's his hand-drawn stencil on there. Wow. Definitely a cool piece of music history. It's a cool one. All right, cool. So we'll check out, I'll kind of walk you guys over here, show you sort of some of our acoustics, and then we'll head on back to the acoustic room back here.
Beautiful.
So this is where we'll kind of have some of our like folk instruments, so our mandolins, banjos, mandolas, octave mandolins, all that stuff. And then we get into sort of like acoustic worlds here. We've got our Martins and our Gibsons. This is another guy that's definitely worth mentioning. So this is a 1954 Strat. It is serial number 0057. So in that first batch of 100 ever made, it's super cool.
Yeah, you gotta tell me what the hell that thing is.
That is a harp guitar. So this was one of, man, in the early 1900s, Gibson was just kind of having fun with it. So there were a lot of like big band orchestra with fretted instruments. So this was kind of in that sort of roster, along with like, you'll see like the mandolin bass. They did, you know, banjo basses. They did like full orchestras of all this stuff. So this kind of would have fallen into that category of sort of those weird sort of big band instruments. But it's super cool. It doesn't like really sound great, but it is very cool.
It's still cool.
We're just resetting up. We just did a show here last night on the stage. So we're kind of rebuilding things. That's our pink chair. I don't know if you've ever seen our old YouTube channel, but that's like all of the famous demos we've done have all been on that chair. We actually bought it here back when this was an antique mall.
Is it the same chair that they brought and sat Post Malone in years ago?
Oh yeah, all those, you know, the Billy Strings demos, the Marcus King stuff, the Isbell stuff, all that stuff is on there.
Yeah, that's killer.
So yeah, we bought this at the antique mall that was here, brought it across the street, had it there for like 10 years, and then it's back home.
That's awesome.
So we'll come through here. We'll have some of our cool mandolins. I love this one. This is a Paul Bigsby built Glenn Traver model. So Paul Bigsby, real pioneer of solid body electric instruments. You can kind of see, you know, allegedly Leo Fender got some inspiration from the headstock there, although he claims not to. But yeah, that's definitely a really cool piece. And then this is where all of our super cool acoustics live. So all of our like pre-war Martins and Gibsons, sort of our real high-end luthier built stuff, kind of arch tops as well. They'll all kind of live in here. There's a 37.
Close enough.
You can play on that a little bit. I'm gonna look for this other one.
Yeah, man, that's really nice.
That's a good one.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
You ready? You want to use that one?
Let's do it, yeah.
Cool, right on. Let's do it. Yeah.
I wrote this when I was out in Nashville, North Carolina, about a string of L's that I was on. It was written shortly after a breakup, you know, but it was about a lot more than just the breakup too, you know. Just about where my life was heading at the time. It's called Till It Ain't. It ain't no time for rhyme or reason. It's best to leave it, then wonder what went wrong. Well, you've got your eyes on better seasons, and either way I see it, you've already moved on. But I still hold my breath, time and time again. Darling, you're the only thing that's on my mind again. Getting over you day by day, and this old heart don't beat the same. It's alright till it ain't anymore. Well, I guess your mind is made. Lord, I don't know what to say. I'm burning every good with all the bad. So, if it ain't the way it's seen, cover me in kerosene and throw me out with all the time I can't take back. Well, I still walk on fire, time and time again. Darling, you're the reason why I lost my mind again. Getting over you day by day, but I still love you just the same. It's alright till it ain't anymore. It's alright till it ain't anymore. It's alright till it ain't anymore. Taillights on 65, burning like a bloody moon. I'd go blind staring at the sky if it wasn't for you. 5 and a long man sighing a bright decade of sun. Jesus Christ, it's gonna be some time for all this said and done.
going nowhere fast. Might just set up shop and watch you go to hell and back. Drive in a two-lane grave, bury me right on the side of the road. Well, I ain't got all day and I guess I ain't coming home. Miles of the interstate, ain't know what made all that fuss. Full stop or not, you'd have thought it was the Alabama mud. Long ride on a long way line, you might settle up just to die. Oh, I don't know if that sun gonna shine when all is said and done. I'm stuck on the highway, going nowhere fast. Might just set up shop, watch it go to hell and back. Drive in a two-lane grave, bury me right on the side of the road. I ain't got all day and I guess I ain't coming home.